Hi guys, it's Steph from New Zealand Train Simulator Workshop, here to show you how to drive our JA class locomotive. So I'll jump in the cab and we'll get started. In the cab we've got several different views, heads out, full cab, and then the fireman's equivalent, as well as the final one which shows the lubricator. This is important because we've got to control it as we drive the train. To get driving we'll want to release the brake. I'm moving it to the release position briefly and then back to the running position. While that's doing its thing, we can see it moving on the gauges here. We'll turn the generator on at the upper left of the cab, and then above the driver's seat we'll turn on the headlight. The brake gauges at the bottom are showing us that the brake is released, but the flow meter is telling us that towards the rear of the train the brake is still applied. When released, the needles will match up. You'll see we've just got a pop-up at the top right advising that the lubricator is now in the incorrect position. So we'll change to the lubricator view and we'll deal with that. First off, we'll press Ctrl L, which will light up behind the feeds so we can see what the oil droplets are doing. In order to be in motion, the control valve in the centre at the bottom here, it needs to be pointed down, so we'll move it down and then we can check that all the feeds have started correctly by watching the oil droplets. They have, so we'll turn the light back off with Ctrl L again and go back to the driver's position. Now that we're ready to go, we'll open the cylinder drains and then move the reverser all the way to the forwards position. Brakes are still coming off, well, it doesn't really matter too much. We'll open the throttle slowly so we can get started. Not too quick, because as I say, with that brake on still, we'll slip it because we're dragging brakes. So we'll just slowly and carefully get started. Now that we're underway, we can jump back in and shut the cylinder drains. Probably put some coal on the fire. We've got the AI fireman off, so we need to press Shift F to open the doors, and then R to start shoveling. We want the fire to stay that nice white hot colour. As we pick up some speed, we can open the throttle a bit more. Here's the wheel slip I was a bit worried about. So we'll bring back the reverser a bit as well, now that we're picking up some speed. We'll bring back the reverser, we'll cut down how much power is applied to it, which reduces the chance of wheel slip. And we'll keep opening the throttle carefully, bringing back the reverser as we increase speed. You can see we've got a nice fire on as we attempt the hill out of Springfield, so we should be okay. Now we can turn the injector on with the O and L keys for the exhaust steam injector, or the I and K keys for the live steam injector. The boiler pressure is coming down a bit, so we might just turn the blower on a bit to help keep the pressure up. Check our fire, looking nice and white hot. Our fireman's still shoveling, so we can probably shut the doors now with Ctrl Shift F. The water looks full in the glass, so we'll turn the injector back off with Shift O and Shift L. Now while we climb the hill out of Springfield, we'll go back to lubricator view. If we press Ctrl Shift and K, we'll get an information box for the lubricator, which tells us how much we need per minute and what's currently being provided. As you can see, we currently need 7 drops per minute and the lubricator is feeding 13, so we're okay. What can happen though is the locomotive can run too fast for the lubricator settings, which we can simulate by just closing one of these valves off, which will give you a warning at the top right to say that one or more of the feeds is below what the current requirement is. Press Ctrl Shift K again now. We'll see that the left valve's at 0 while we need 6, so we can fix that by just turning the oil back on again. There's different rates of course, you can go faster or slower. The lubricator is set for about 35-40 miles an hour normally. Now, if I just check the gradient diagram, we'll see we're about to start coming downhill onto the big Kauai viaduct, which means we don't need the throttle on anymore, but closing the throttle also closes the lubrication. So when the throttle gets shut, we'll just shut it now, we move the reverser all the way forwards, and we open the drifting valve here in front of us so that a little bit of oil keeps going through to the cylinders. That way we can roll comfortably down this hill without having to worry about too much. We'll use advanced brakes on here, so we'll show you just bringing the train to a stop. First of all, we'll move the brake round to the apply position. Keep an eye on the gauge, watch till about 10-15 pounds drops off, and then bring it to the lap position, which will hold the brake at that setting. Hitting this hill off the end of Big Kauai will slow us down a lot faster. As we come to a stop, we can move the drifting valve to the closed position, so it's no longer required, and you'll see a notice come up to say that the lubricator is now incorrectly set for being stopped. We need to return it to the pump only position, so we go to the lubricator view and we can just turn this handle back to this position. And now we'll see if we check the light behind that only the centre feed for the air pump is running. That's a quick guide on how to get started with the driving. For full details, check the manual. There's instructions there for how to refill the lubricator if it runs out of oil entirely. Further instructions on how the rest of the controls work. We hope you enjoy the JA for Train Simulator, and we'll catch you again next time.